Hey guys, it's Dusty Showers from Creepy Creatures, Termite and Pest, and MrPestGuy.com. And I wanted to do a video to discuss armadillos. You may have seen on my channel, I do have a couple other videos on how to trap armadillos. But I get phone calls from people. I'm based out of the Tampa Bay area in Florida, specifically Palm Harbor. And I get quite a bit of phone calls from people in other parts of the world. With armadillos, it's actually a lot of calls from Texas and Louisiana and whatnot of people wanting to buy a trap from me. Now, I don't sell these traps. I only use them in my business, and we use them quite a bit. And it's become a very, very, very effective trap. In fact, it's so effective now anyone can trap armadillos. But if you're looking to just go straight to armadillo trapping, I do have a couple videos that you can check out yourself. And here is one of them. And here I talk about the trap that we use. This is the armadillo trap. And it's really a great trap. So you can see here.
This goes down like this. It's such a simple concept. I wish I invented it. The armadillo walks in through one of these openings. When they go in, their nose hits this thing. And they're shut in.
It's super simple. It's a very humane trap. It's easy for just about anyone to use. The other video that I've got out here, you can check it out for yourself as well. Let's see if I can pull it up here. I don't remember which one I've pulled up, but not that one. So bear with me. I want to make sure that you guys are getting your armadillos taken care of the right way, because there is a right way, there's a wrong way, and you need to know which is which. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so with these armadillos, what you want to do is you can use a trap. It's called the armadillo trap, literally, the armadillotrap.com. You can find it online, and here I've got it right here. And I said it in the videos, I believe, and I think it's in the description as well. This is where we buy our traps. Now, I don't know anyone here. I don't get a commission from it. I don't have any sort of referral. I have no benefit from this at all, except that I buy traps from these guys, and the traps are great. They work. For wooden traps, they actually weather very well. We're, like I said, in Central Florida, and in the summer we get rains just about every day. And so these traps, they're not bionic, but they definitely do a great job. They last a long time. We try to keep them out of the elements when we can, but a lot of times they just end up sitting in the back of our truck where they do take a beating from the weather. But what's awesome about these is that they almost always catch the target animal, which is the armadillo. Now, there are times that we actually catch or we have the traps that are set off and nothing in them, and that's a little bit disappointing. But what happens in that case is what we figured, and we haven't put a camera on it to see, but we figured that raccoons get in, and raccoons are able to get into the trap, but they don't get out. Or I'm sorry, they can get into the trap, but because their fingers are so dexterous, they're able to open up the door and get back out. So, but we do catch a lot of just armadillos. And what's great about these traps is that nowadays, all you need to do is put out this trap. It doesn't need to be set in any specific area. In the olden days of armadillo trapping, we would use traps. We would use like metal traps, just a universal trap that's made for all sorts of animals, like that catch raccoons and possums and whatnot. But these traps now that we have, it's specific to armadillos. And what they found was they can take an armadillo and let it sit in the dirt for a while. Apparently, get the dirt smelling like armadillos, and actually armadillos smell pretty bad. So, which happens when you sit in a boxed area for a very small or for a very long amount of time. So eventually that is going to smell pretty bad. But they take that mud and they put that in the brand new armadillo trap. So you have the opportunity to buy traps either scented or non-scented, and you pay a little bit more, you get a scented trap. That's what we get. They're just ready to go right out the door. And these traps are great because they're easy to use. All you need to do is look outside and see if the doors are closed. If the doors are closed, that means that you probably have an armadillo in the trap. And so the key though with these guys is that you can't let the armadillo sit in the trap for more than a day. And you can't do that with any animal. It's just not humane to let any animal sit in a trap for more than a day. But where the olden days you had to put the trap in the path of the armadillo, then normally you could get away with just putting it along the structure like a house or a fence line. Some people use wood as funnels to funnel the armadillo in. And if you look around the internet, you'll see a lot of videos of this, and that works and it's effective. But these traps make it almost foolproof, where you don't even have to strategically place the trap. You just put the trap in an area where the armadillos are hanging out, even if it's out in the open, and they're going to go into the trap. You don't have to put any bait in it. Just pull up the doors, put it where you think the armadillos are. And logically, I say try to get it as close to the burrow as possible, but that's not always possible. But it's very, very, very important. I can't stress enough. Check the traps every morning. And also do what you can to have the trap out of the elements, especially sunlight. So if you put an armadillo in there and it's sitting out in the sun for any period of time, depending on where you live, that animal could really cook in there. And even if you don't like armadillos, you don't want to hurt them in any way. So make sure that the trap is shaded. Make sure that it's checked often. You're almost always going to catch armadillos at night. There are some that come in during the day, but typically at night is when you're going to catch them. So just check the trap first thing in the morning and then check it a little bit later on during the day. It's impossible to tell you how many armadillos you have. Sometimes we catch one. Sometimes my record, I think, is 14. But a lot of times you have the mother and you always have 4 babies. 4 babies of the same sex. Unless something happened to one of them or 2 of them, you're always going to have 4 babies and a female, if that's what if you're catching that group, like a mother and babies. But we do oftentimes just catch multiple adults. So it's really impossible to tell people what to expect. The one thing though about armadillos is they'll have different burrows. So you might put an armadillo trap out by a burrow and then nothing happens for a week or 2 weeks. And then you take the trap away and then there's new activity in the burrow. And the best way to tell if there's activity is just push some dirt in it, cover up the hole. If that's too much work, and sometimes it is because it can be in difficult areas to reach, or it might be an old burrow and the sand is just hard to push back in, or the dirt wherever you live. So you can take something, any sort of marker, like take a garbage bag and roll it up and stuff that in a hole. And all you're looking for is to see, is there any activity? Can you tell if an animal has come in or out? And if you've gone 3 to 5 days and that plastic bag hasn't been disturbed or the dirt hasn't been dug back up, you can safely assume that there's no more armadillo there. Now, it might come back, might not. I don't know. But odds are, though, at some point, armadillos will be back, whether it's that one or another one. And there's countless stories of people trying to keep armadillos out where they put crushed glass, gasoline, ammonia. There's countless stories of people doing, trying to keep the armadillos out with just insane tactics. And really the best thing that I found is to take 1/4-inch hardware cloth, which you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, 1/4-inch hardware cloth, try to roll it up in a ball the best you can, put it in there, maybe even lay some flat stuff over and fill that in with gravel. So for whatever reason, armadillos don't like digging through gravel, and that's not a guarantee that they won't dig through your gravel. But, we never find them digging up foundations and stuff that have gravel around the perimeter. Of course, the deeper the gravel, the better it's going to be. And I think it's just hard for them to pull all of that out of the way. So if you're going to fill in the openings, I'd do it with small rocks or gravel. That's not a guarantee. But especially what's not guaranteed is that they're not just going to go down 10 yards where you didn't do that and dig a new hole. But keeping them out can be difficult. But that's what we do, is a combination of hardware cloth with rocks on top and then throw dirt on top over that. So a lot of people do feel like they got to tell you that armadillos have leprosy. And while they can carry leprosy, it's incredibly, incredibly uncommon. It's just one of those things that people like to pass along. We have lots of those little anecdotes. And living in Florida, another one would be alligators. If you ever get chased by an alligator, they say run diagonally, because alligators can't run diagonally, which is really quite funny because alligator, I don't know if I said armadillo, but they say alligators don't run diagonally. And they don't really. They kind of move like this, But an alligator is just going to, I mean, its attack is going to be fast. They're not going to chase anybody 10 or 15 or 20 yards. If they're not going to get their prey immediately, they're not going to chase you. But that's a big Florida thing that people love to say. If you ever get chased by an alligator, just run diagonally. And nobody that ever says that has ever been chased by an alligator. So that's kind of the thing with armadillos with leprosy. Yes, they can carry leprosy. You're probably not going to find an armadillo with leprosy. No, that doesn't mean that you should go kiss armadillos, because yes, they can carry leprosy. So I want to make sure that we got all this covered.
So this is an adult armadillo.
If you have a general idea of what you're doing, you can hold them. I would be careful about it. What I'm saying in this video is their teeth are too small. So armadillos are not capable of biting people. They're not capable of biting pets. Sometimes people are concerned about their pets, and you have an armadillo in the front yard or the backyard. An armadillo is not going to hurt your animal. However, your animal could hurt the armadillo. So I try to keep them out of my backyard because my dogs won't take kindly to them. But so I just don't want to see an armadillo hurt like that. I love these guys. If they don't need to be moved, relocated or euthanized, however you choose in your state to deal with them. Most states, relocation is illegal, so you have to have a game plan. I can't really tell you what to do with that. It's a super, super, super touchy subject. So you might want to check with your state laws before you actually set a trap, because there are times that we get people that they catch an animal and then they call us and say, I caught a possum. What do I do now? You should think about that before you set a trap out. And oftentimes people are surprised when they call a trapper and the trapper says, I'll come pick it up for $50 or $60 or $100, whatever it is. So think ahead before you set out traps for animals. Like I said, I love armadillos. These guys are really sweet little guys. They do have the ability to kick. They're not going to jump up and kick you in the face. They're not going to do any harm with you. But if you do try to hold one, you typically grab them by the tail and then by the body. You see, I've got this guy by the body. I'm probably holding his tail too, just to stabilize him. But they try to spin around, and it can be really, really super hard to hold them when they're spinning. So you just got to hold on really tight. But just a word of warning, they will urinate, they will defecate. So if you're holding them and you're holding them the wrong way, you're going to get in a mess, and you don't want to have that. So trust me, I've learned the hard way. Hopefully that's some information that will help you guys in your adventures of armadillo trapping. Like I said, go to the armadillotrap.com webpage. Again, I don't make any sort of referral or commission off this. I just think it's a great trap, and we use them as professionals. I pay my bills using these traps, so I don't have any disincentive to not share that with you. So hopefully you guys can just go straight to the armadillotrap.com and order what you need there. I would personally order them pre-scented already. It's really the scent that makes it worth it. So do that, and feel free to leave me some comments, like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer whatever I can. Please, though, if you call, we only take phone calls from Pinellas County or the surrounding areas of Pinellas County. So if you're not in the Pinellas County area in Florida, please just leave a comment. It's just too hard to take phone calls for people that we can't help out. And we don't sell the traps either. We get requests from people wanting to buy the traps from us, and we don't sell them. So you can go to the armadillotrap.com and buy whatever you need there. Again, make sure if you do set out a trap, check those traps every morning. I recommend checking them at least twice a day. Keep them out of the elements, and good luck with your armadillos. So as always, be kind to pit bulls, possums, and yes, armadillos. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. Tell a friend, and share your comments with me. We'll catch you later. Oh, I didn't hit end. I wanted to add one more thing about using bait for armadillo traps. And when I first started doing this about 30 years ago, I had an old Florida native tell me to put a head of cabbage and cut a head of cabbage in half and put that in the trap. And that's back when we were using the wire cage traps that you see in a lot of these videos. And I've done a lot of A/B tests on using cabbage, using other baits, and cabbage is worthless. Don't waste any time putting cabbage in armadillo traps, in any other bait, because really any bait that you use, all it's going to do is attract other animals. And I want to give you an example of this guy that I found online, and he's doing old school trapping, which is nothing wrong with this, because these armadillo traps are pretty new. And so before these came out, this is how we trapped armadillos. But what you can see in this guy, in what he's doing, he's got the the boards that are funneling the armadillo into the trap, but he's also putting marshmallows out here. So all those little white things are marshmallows. And anybody in the animal business knows that marshmallows are a raccoon's best friend. And while these boards are awesome at funneling armadillos into traps, they also funnel any other animal into traps. So if you're putting out marshmallows like this to lead them in, and then you've also got the boards in there, you're guaranteed to catch a raccoon or a possum probably before you catch an armadillo. So an armadillo is going to go into this trap regardless if there's bait. So putting bait in there is only going to risk attracting other animals. So just keep it simple. If you're going to do a setup like this, don't put any bait in there. Just trust that you're putting this in the path of the animal. It's always good too if you can put one of these boards so that the other end touches a building, so that once a raccoon once an armadillo gets in here, it really has no choice but to follow the board until it goes into the trap. Because see, with this setup, theoretically, it could walk around here. But yeah, here's a great setup for using a regular old wire trap. I think there's an old tomahawk trap. And so, this is a great setup. But again, leave the marshmallows out of it. Don't put any bait in armadillo traps. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your questions are. I'd be more than happy to address them. Sit, possum, sit. Good possum.